Welcome into Instant Reaction in Indianapolis Colts podcast. I'm Casey Vallier, joined by Colts Ring of Honor wide receiver Bill Brooks, and we're reacting to a 38-24 victory for the Colts over the Los Angeles Chargers. The Colts now 5-0 inside the AFC, the only team in the conference undefeated in the AFC. Also, they take advantage in the AFC South. We saw early Sunday morning the Jacksonville Jaguars lose to the Rams in London. So now the Colts have a full two-game lead inside the AFC South. It's time for me to stop talking now, and we're going to welcome in Bill Brooks. Bill, this offense just continues to stay dialed in.
They just keep on rolling, going up and down the field, especially in the first half. And then also in the second half, they move the ball down the field. And it's great to see them as they were playing to use so many different people as far as weapons in regards to the offense, moving up and down the field with Tyler Warren, throwing the ball to Tyler Warren, throwing the ball to Pittman, getting the ball to JT, of course, as JT was going out there making the big plays and just running hard and catching the ball out of the backfield and just doing what JT does. So it was great to see. And then, of course, Daniel Jones being the consistent player that he has been all season thus far, doing the same thing today, just getting the team in the right plays, moving the ball up and down the field. And it's fun to see this offense work and how they go about their business, because it just seems so very methodical that they go up and down the field. And it's nothing fancy or nothing too
Right.
extravagant. They just are very efficient in what they do, moving the ball up and down the field.
And you hit on everything I want to talk about. I figure with this installment, we'll kind of highlight the offense, like you just mentioned. But then defensively, I thought it was kind of a tale of two halves. There was a lot of good in the first half, and then maybe a little bit more of seeing what that Chargers offense can do in the second half. I don't want to blame it all on the defense because Justin Herbert and his collection of weapons, they are elite. They are really, really good players, a really good offense. So it was kind of a tale of two halves defensively. But, as we kick this thing off, kind of the way we've done every game this year, I want to start with the offense and, highlighting to start Jonathan Taylor, 94 rushing yards, 3 touchdowns. The third time this season he's had 3 rushing touchdowns in a game. That now ties him with Edgerrin James for the most in team history. The route
Wow.
he's going on right now, I mean, he's going to break that mark by week 9. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. And, I mean, you know this, Bill. We have talked about it at nauseum that Jonathan Taylor seems to have kind of, I don't necessarily want to say turn back the clock because I don't think he's ever really lost a step, but he is playing at a level that we didn't know if we'd see him get back to. When he rushed for 1,800 yards, he looks almost on a better track because of what he's doing collectively entirely through the offense, being able to be the pass protection, being able to have that reliability in the passing game. Jonathan Taylor is just playing at an all-time level right now.
He is just playing very high. And to me, just to see him run the ball as far as type of running back he is, he can run in between the tackles and get those tough yards and be that guy that just kind of moves the pile and get that first down when it's third or fourth and one and just push people back so they can get that first down. Or if he sees that hole, he hits that hole hard and then takes it for the distance. That's good to see at Jonathan Taylor, and he's doing all the things as you talked about, Casey, not just running the ball very hard, but also pass protection when there's passes going to someone else. He's there protecting that he doing his job, which he needs to do, but also catching the ball out of the backfield. I mean, he's doing a good job with that. So seeing Jonathan Taylor run the way he has been running, is just something that, I'm thinking about looking at it as this is a young man that came into the league, did well, had an extremely, extremely good couple of years, and he seemed like he's taking it to another level.
Yeah.
And taking it to another level says a lot about what Jonathan Taylor is doing, because I thought was playing at a high level before this, but he's just taking it to another level and just being very efficient and being very dependable for the offense.
In the running game for the Colts, we thought this was an area they could kind of, attack as far as what the Chargers do heading into the game. The Chargers were allowing 5 yards per carry heading into this game. The Colts averaged 5.2 yards per carry today. Jonathan Taylor averaged 5.9. So it's definitely an area that the Colts staff, the Colts players, everybody thought they could kind of exploit, and they definitely were able to put that, in full display on Sunday. And then you add on the 3 touchdowns that Taylor did. I mean, it was just a great rushing performance on a day where really they didn't run the ball a whole lot.
No.
It was, they found some areas in the passing game they really thought they could, benefit from, but they definitely utilized the run when they needed to, and they ran the ball effectively.
Yeah, they only ran the ball 23 times, and JT got 16 of those carries, and a couple of those carries were basically those runs, 5 of them from Daniel Jones, but some of them were scrambles and getting up the field and getting some positive yards. So
Right.
they didn't run the ball a lot, but when they did a good job of running the ball, especially JT, 16 carries for 94 yards. The longest was 23 yards, and as you mentioned, 3 touchdowns. So JT is just consistently being consistent out there on the football field, just like Daniel Jones has been consistent. So seeing JT run and be the bell cow back there as far as in the running game is very good to see. And it's very important for the Colts to make sure that they have a running game like that, which helps everyone else as far as the passing game, the wide receivers, the tight ends as well, so they can move the ball down the field. So it's good to see the Colts kind of spread it around so everyone can get a piece and be a part of the offense.
And when you look at what Jonathan Taylor has done on the touchdown side of things, he had his 10th rushing touchdown of the season in the game against the Chargers. He now has 61 on his career. So when you start thinking about the running backs that have worn the Colts uniform, he is in third place all time. He trails Lenny Moore by
Mm.
2 rushing touchdowns, he has 63, and then Edgerrin James by 3 rushing touchdowns at 64. So ultimately, he is 4 touchdowns away from being all by himself atop this franchise who has had, we talk about Lenny Moore, Edgerrin James, Marshall Faulk. I know that Eric Dickerson and Marshall Faulk had great careers elsewhere too, but you can't discredit what they did inside with a Colts uniform on. And what this guy is on pace for, it is incredible. The pace he's going, he might get there next week against the Titans.
You never know what might happen with JT. He might get there next week, as you say, Casey. But that just shows you how good this young man is, and it shows you how hard this young man has worked in order to get to the level he has gotten to. He puts in the time, he puts in the effort, especially in the offseason, getting his body right and going out there working. And then also during a week of practice. I mean, he works hard, he prepares his body each and every day to go out there and take the load if he needs to, but to make sure he's available for his team. And that's what you want from someone like Jonathan Taylor. So for someone that's a leader on the team, that makes sure that he is ready to do battle with his teammates, to go out there and just be prepared to go out there and play. So you never know what might happen. He might get that record next week, but you know what? I'm pretty sure in the weeks to come he will be one of those guys that is at the top of the running back list for the Indianapolis Colts.
Now, when we talk about this Colts offense, we start with Jonathan Taylor, but it doesn't take us too long to talk about Daniel Jones. And I'm just going to stop right there. That's the end. Daniel Jones. No, I'm just kidding, Bill. But, I mean, this guy continues to just be so efficient. I think today, he was under 70% completion. So, Daniel, you gotta raise that bar up a little
come on,
bit.
Danny. Come
But, I mean,
on.
he threw for 288, 2 touchdowns. I mean, we thought it was going to be, as I mentioned, a very heavily relied on game in the run, in large part because of kind of the weakness the Chargers had shown, but also when you don't have Ashton Doolin and Josh Downs, I thought maybe they would be a little limited. But this passing game, they picked right up where they left off.
Yeah, they did. I mean, Daniel Jones is doing what Daniel Jones does. I mean, just go out there each and every week and just hit the guys that are open, take what the defense gives them, and doesn't worry about forcing the ball to one particular player out there. Whoever's open, they're going to get the ball if they run their routes and be prepared to catch the ball. And that's what you want from a quarterback. You want a quarterback that is going to take what the defense gives you. He's going to read the defense and take what the defense gives him. He doesn't play favorites. He just gets the ball out there to the guys. And you know what? That's what you want, because that keeps the defense off balance, knowing that, hey, we don't know who the ball is going to, so they have to play everyone honest. and give also those guys at the skill positions credit for winning their one-on-one battles. I mean, I know Alec Pierce a couple of times he won his one-on-one battles out there just as well as Pittman, and Anthony Gould made a nice catch to get a first down. So guys went out there and played well. And of course, Tyler Warren. You know, what can I say about the young man, the young rookie that's come in here and just kind of lit it up. I mean, just been very consistent and very good week in and week out, and just wants to play football, loves the game of football, and he's doing a good job and gave this offense another weapon that Shane Steichen can use. So it's good to see, and that's what you want from guys out there, going out there playing hard, winning, and doing their job. And for me, the big thing is winning their one-on-one battles. Right now, they're winning their one-on-one battles, and that helps the offense tremendously.
And I want to dive into. I'm going to lump all this in with Daniel Jones, but it's a collective effort for sure. But Jones sacked just once today.
Mm-hmm.
Another game with no turnovers, and then listen to
Yeah.
these numbers. On third down, they were 8 of 14, which is 57%. That's third and fourth down combined. They were 4 of 5 in the red zone scoring touchdowns. That one red zone trip they didn't score a touchdown was where he completed the deep pass to Pittman, who's able to get under the ball, clock it, and get the field goal to go into halftime. So that's one of them. You can say it's a red zone trip that was unsuccessful as far as a touchdown goes, but I think if you're looking at it from the way that this staff should look at it, the way we're looking at it, that is an effective red zone trip because you're able to get points there at the end of the quarter. It is just efficiency at its finest. I don't really know how else to talk about it, Bill. I'm at a loss when we do these instant reactions because every week I'm like, there's nothing I can really be nitpicky about. They don't. You brought up a really good point. It's nothing flashy. Like, yeah, they have some big plays here and there, but ultimately, I mean, they just run the offense so well. I mean, it's just execution city. If we need 6 yards, let's get seven. If we need four, let's get five. Like those are the things that they're doing, and it's just been a tip of the cap to what Daniel Jones has been able to do inside Shane Steichen's offense. It's like both of their minds work together hand in hand so well, and it is just leading to just one of the more efficient offenses that you'll ever see, and the amount of points they're putting up. We haven't seen this in Indianapolis for the Colts. I mean, this stuff hasn't happened even in the Peyton Manning era, amount of points that this team is putting up. You have to go back to Johnny Unitas and the Baltimore Colts. So it has just been really, really impressive what Daniel Jones and this offense has done.
Yeah, it's funny to say someone being so consistent is exciting to watch. You know, someone that's so consistent doing the same thing over and over and over again is exciting to watch. And that's what it is. That's what Daniel Jones has shown us. He's being consistent, and it's exciting to see someone like Daniel Jones going out there playing the way he's playing and being so exciting to watch because you never know what the offense is going to do. Shane Steichen does some different things, and Daniel Jones is being consistent. But it's exciting to see what new things are going to come up week in and week out. You never know what Shane's going to do from an offensive standpoint, and it's great to see someone to be able to execute that offense. And Daniel Jones has done that, so it's nice to talk about someone so called to be boring, I guess, but it's been consistently doing your job, and that's it's fun to see, and it's great to see, and that's why the Colts are where they are right now.
If that's boring, sign me up for it, Bill. I'm good with boring, man. I can watch this
Sign
week
me
in
up,
and week out.
sign me up for 17 weeks of this. I'll take
Absolutely.
it each and every week.
Now, I do want to highlight a couple of the guys you mentioned earlier. We talked about kind of that, in a way, the three-headed monster outside of Taylor, inside the offense, kind of for Jones' disposal that we saw. Pittman led the way with 7 catches for 58 yards, another touchdown for Michael Pittman Jr. Tyler Warren had his third straight game with a receiving touchdown, fourth straight game with a touchdown as he added 4 catches for 59 yards in that score. And then Alec Pierce, 5 catches, a game-high 98 yards for the Colts. And I think probably the most pivotal play of the game was when he had that third down reception prior to the 2-minute warning on that last drive. The Chargers are out of timeouts. It essentially set the Colts up to go, hey, victory formation, this game's
Yes.
over. And we're heading back home with a big victory under our belts. Just a huge performance out of those 3 guys. They all do a little something different. It forced the Chargers defense to kind of play the guessing game all game long on who's it going to be on this possession, this drive, and ultimately those three guys. I know there were multiple guys that had other plays. I mean,
Yes.
we saw Mo Alley Cox have a big catch. You talked about Anthony Gould, but it was kind of those three guys that really led the way. And you didn't even notice Josh Downs not being out there, and he is one of those guys that typically, those third down conversions, you're always looking to see where number one was. I thought those three guys really stepped up and made that loss not look like a huge loss in this game.
Yeah, those guys stepped up. They did their job. They knew the job they had to do, and that's basically go out there and execute the plays that are given to them. That they have to that they hear in the huddle that they need to go out there and run, and they do that. So it's good to see the guys make those plays. Alec made a big play as you mentioned. That play he caught to kind of seal the game, so the Colts can get basically a kneel down. What we call players the best play in football, kneel down, and the game's over. And you want to see that every game. Hopefully, you have the ball and you could kind of, just kneel down and the game's over. But he also made a catch earlier in the game where it was 48-yard pass over the shoulder. I thought was a big catch for the team. So he did a nice job, and Pitt made a nice catch out there in the football field for his touchdown. So the guys did a good job. I mean, I think those guys played extremely well. And so that's what you want to see. And Tyler Warren, at the beginning of the game, he has some nice catches. And of course, that touchdown again for Tyler Warren, making a catch in the end zone. So the guys are doing their job. I mean, as a player, this is fun. This is fun to see because I know the guys are having a good time out there, and everyone's participating, everyone's involved, everyone is getting the ball, especially the guys you mentioned, and they're making plays. And when you have an opportunity to go out there and make plays and you make them, it's fun, and everyone benefits from that. So the balls that the guys are catching, the tight ends and wide receivers are catching is just only helping Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor running the ball is only helping the guys go out there and catch the ball, and it's making it easier for Daniel Jones to run play action or to boot outside and get the ball to those guys down the field. So it's fun to see those guys executing, and it's fun to see what they're going to do or what they have been doing. And it's exciting to anticipate what they are going to do in the weeks to come.
Now, it's not all roses and unicorns and rainbows and everything because, yes, you get a big victory, but I want to start with the defense here to kind of close up this episode. And it's, in some ways, I like to say the tale of two halves.
Yep.
The first half, defense was great. You
Mhm.
had two interceptions. You allowed just 3 points. The Chargers were 1 of 5 on third downs, and they were also 0 of 1 inside the red zone. So when you look at that, and you go into halftime up 23-3, so you go in with a big 20-point lead. That's about as good a football as you can play from a defensive front. I'm sure Lou Anarumo was very, very pleased, especially because all the talk all week has been, okay, with Mooney Ward going to be out, you've got a lot of youth. You got a lot of guys with no experience. You got to be able to find something from somewhere. And I think as a collective in that first half, I think you saw good flashes from every part of the defense. And I think that is a really beneficial thing for what Lou Anarumo is trying to build because ultimately you can't make excuses for injuries. You have to be able to go out and play. And that's what these guys are doing. They're going out, they're kind of learning on the job, some of these guys. So you got to tip your cap to what they did in the first half for sure.
Exactly. I mean, you know what? The Chargers aren't going to say, "Oh, you know what? These guys got some injuries. Let's kind of take it easy on them this week. We don't want, we want to take it easy on these guys because they have a bunch of injuries. We know, Charvarius Ward is not playing, so we'll take it easy. Keenan Allen, don't run your route so hard. Don't get open. No, you know what? Those guys that are stepping in there for the guys that aren't playing, they need to step up and play. And in the first half, that defense played extremely well. As you mentioned, the stats. Casey 0 for 1 in the red zone. The Chargers were 1 for 5 on third down. The Colts got 2 turnovers in the first half, so they played well. They did a good job out there playing hard and it's holding them to 3 points. So that's what you want to see. And the score is 23-3. So you're up 3 possessions really when you have those up by 20 points. So it's good to see the Colts go out there and do that. But the second half, a little bit different. The Chargers got on a roll. They scored very quick in the second half when they got the ball. I think it was like a minute and 59 seconds or 2 minutes they scored on that first drive, and you didn't want to see that because when that's what they wanted to do. They wanted to score quick to try to get back into the game, but the Colts did a good enough job offensively to kind of match them as they went down the score. But defensively, you know what, they needed to do a little bit more to put some pressure on Herbert and to stop him or slow him down. I'm not saying stop him, but slow him down. So they took a long time to score, and they did do that. And I think the next couple of times they scored, I think it was 4 minutes and 50 some odd seconds, maybe in 5 minutes another time. But they did enough to slow them down. But it's something that the Colts are definitely going to hopefully get better at and stop other teams from moving down the field and coming back and scoring points. So those guys, those young guys that are out there playing, getting opportunity to play, going to have to step up. And I'm sure the defensive coaches will devise a game plan and schemes to help those young guys to excel out there in the football field. Because that's when you want to see those guys excel. That's the only way it's going to help the defense to get better and kind of close these games out.
Yeah, to kind of dive into what happened there in the second half, Herbert threw for 289 yards, 3 touchdowns in the second half. In total, they allowed tight end Oronde Gadsden to have 164 yards and a touchdown. That's a career high. Keenan Allen had 119 receiving yards and a touchdown. Ladd McConkey, 67 receiving yards. They were 7 of 11 on third downs, 3 for 3 in the red zone. But like you mentioned, the offense continued to click. So therefore, it made that defense. I'm not necessarily saying they had to kind of watch the scoreboard and get a little bit, but playing with a lead, that's why what they did in the first half was so key because you
Yes.
had that cushion. For the most part, I don't think the Chargers got anywhere closer than 14. And when they did, the offense went down and scored. It was a very, very good complementary football game. Even though the defense was struggling a little bit, the offense was able to do something that really helped the defense. But one area I did want to highlight with the defense, Bill, and in part because of the score, they had to kind of eliminate the run game. But I think the Colts did a really good job of eliminating that before it even became an issue. You know, it was one of the better running games in the NFL heading into the game. Now, I know they were down, their top couple backs. We know Najee Harris is gone for the year. Omarion Hampton is on IR. So the rushing outpour they had earlier in the year is not there. But we saw last week, Kamani Vidal came out, and he had a really good game. He ran for over 100 yards. So they had some momentum still going in that running game, and the Colts were able to limit them on the ground to 54 total rushing yards. Like I mentioned, they had to kind of abandon the run because of the deficit. But I think the Colts, they can really look at that and move that moving forward, kind of have that as a nice little bow in the cap that they were able to limit a really good rush attack to just 54 rushing yards.
Yeah, like, as you say, Casey, some of it was because they were behind and they're trying to catch up. When you're down 23-3, they're down by 3 possessions uh, in the game. You're going to try to throw the ball to get back into the game. You only have a half to do it. So a lot of it has to do with them trying to get back into the game. But also, when they did run the ball, like you said, Case, the coach did a good job of slowing them down and kind of preventing them from having any big plays running the ball. And that's what you want to do. So you kind of want to make them one dimensional, so to speak, so that you know that they're going to pass the ball. And hopefully you get a pass rusher to get to the guy and hit him. Like the Colts had, I think, 15 quarterback hits on him. So they got to hit him, but didn't get him down all the time. They did get some sacks, of course. I know DeForest had 2 sacks, so and a couple other guys had some more sacks. So they did do enough to get to him, but you kind of want to see a little bit more from the Colts defense to get some more sacks and to get them as many times as they threw the ball, especially in the second half.
So, two final things before we close. And one of these, Bill, I'm going to let you know. I did not tell you about it before we do this. Typically,
Uh-oh.
we don't talk a whole lot about what we're going to. I like to have that, they call it organic
Yes.
conversation, but this one is truly there. And it's just because I need to mention it. How awesome was it seeing Big Grover Stewart get his hand on the football, tip it up into the air, have the presence of mind to grab it out of the air for his first career interception? We all love Grove. It was awesome seeing him get his first career interception.
Grove always has a smile on his face. He's always happy. You see him in the hallway. He's always speaking to everyone. Just a happy-go-lucky individual. And for Big Grove to tip the ball and the ball go and he catch it and get that interception, it's great to see Grove get that. I would love to see Grove kind of run the ball a little bit after he got it. That would have been fun and it'd been neat to see to hear what he would have to say after that. But I'm happy for Grove to make that play, big play, get his paw up there and to bat it down. And that's what the defensive line is taught. If they can't get to the quarterback, kind of get in the passing lanes, get their hands up to hopefully deflect the ball and, maybe knock the ball down. But Grove tipped it up and it went right to him. He caught it, and it's good, good to see Big Grove get it. I really want to see Grove get one, and I love to see Grove score a touchdown if he can pick one off, because that would be interesting to see. But kudos to Big Grove. He's not only the guy that can stuff the run for that defensive line and get to the quarterback, but he can make plays like that, get his hands up there and block a pass and knock it down or tip it up and get an interception. So kudos to him and the defensive line. That's what, the third
The
interception for the
third.
defensive line this year. So they're doing a nice job of getting interceptions and creating some turnovers.
And it's pretty cool on a day where Grover Stewart was the one bringing in the Jim Irsay inspired guitar.
Yes.
It's only fitting for Big Grove to have a big play like that. Now, final thing, I have to bring up Ameer Abdullah. I think
Mhm.
we saw him elevated to the Colts 53-man roster. This is, he is now officially on that roster, no longer just a practice squad call up. And we saw what he can do in the return game. He has been known as one of the better return guys in football, but prior to his start here with the Colts in 2025, and he had a massive kick return that went for 81 yards, the longest kick return for the Colts this season. And you and I both, we talked about it in the pregame show that we thought this was a potential opportunity for this Colts team against a Chargers team who was in the bottom half of the league in kick return coverage to make a big splash in the return game. And Ameer Abdullah was the guy to kind of get that going for the Colts.
It was nice to see. It gave the Colts great field position as far as to get to go in the end zone and score, and he made a nice return there. Someone, a veteran, what? He knows he's not going to get a lot of opportunities as far as in the offense, as far as running the ball, but he is going to get some opportunities. And when he does get opportunities, he makes the most of it. And that's what you want from a veteran, a guy that knows when he does get his opportunity, he's going to make the most of it to help the team out. But in the return game, nice job by him. Nice job by the return unit out there to get a hole for him so he can hit it and take it a long ways. Almost took it to the house, not quite, but it would have been nice to see him to get into the end zone, but he didn't. But he still got the ball out, and they had great field position to move down and score. So that was good to see, and that plays a big part. And as we've always talked about, Casey, and all the coaches always talk about, and everyone talks about, special teams are one third of a game.
Yep.
One third of your team, the offense, defense, and special teams. So special teams plays just as much as a part of a game as offense and defense. And you got to take advantage of those opportunities when you get one. And the coach took advantage of that by that kickoff return.
Absolutely. It is. It's all three phases, and the Colts, all three phases,
Yep.
had their share in the victory against the Chargers. As I mentioned, it is a interesting victory for the Colts because they were twice the road team inside SoFi Stadium. It's the second straight season where the Colts have had a road game two times in the same venue. They did it last year at MetLife when they traveled to take on the Jets and the Giants. This year, they play the Rams and the Chargers. They go 1-1 inside SoFi Stadium, but I would argue this one's bigger because of the conference implications. It allows the Colts to get yet another conference victory under their belt. They are now 6-1 atop the AFC conference. They have a 2-game lead inside the AFC South. And next week they host another AFC team and an AFC South opponent in the Tennessee Titans. It'll be the final matchup between those two during the regular season, and that'll be next Sunday inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Bill, thank you always. I really appreciate you joining me on these.
No, it's fun. It's fun to talk about games when the Colts play well and they do well out there in the football field and they execute the game plan. And as you said, guys are being boring, but they're doing a great job out there having a fun time, and executing the offense, and executing the defense, and executing on special teams, and coming home with a win from the West Coast.
Well, I'll tell you that, Bill. If this is boring, sign me up all day long. I am all for boring football if it continues to lead to Colts victories. Well, the 6-1 Indianapolis Colts, as I mentioned, next Sunday they host the 1-6 Tennessee Titans, and we will break all that down for you following that game next Sunday. But for Bill Brooks, I am Casey Vallier. Thank you, Joan. Thank you so much for joining us here on Instant Reaction.